Mhm. Hello. We are a couple of minutes before 3, but those 2 minutes go by really fast. And I always think 2 minutes, I have time to do something. So I go off and do something. And next thing I know, I'm like, it's 3 o'clock. So it's better to be here a couple of minutes early. Hola, no puedo creer. Mi amigo, ¿cómo estás? Hi, Shri. Yeah, so we'll get started in just 1 minute at the top of the hour of 3. But we've got, so I'll start with general messages for this week ahead. And these are for everybody, right? You take what part of it suits you, what part resonates with you, and then tuck the rest away because maybe today it may not be hitting for you, but it probably will come up at some point during the week. So just keep note of that. Um, Thank you. Thank you, Juan. Good to see you. So good to have you here. Hey, Kathy. Hey, hey. So we have YouTube and Instagram going as usual. And let's hope no technical difficulties this week because, well, as you know, I usually seem to have those. I just got back from traveling last night, and had to go around the house and flip all of my calendars to April. And I just remembered there's one I didn't flip. So I'll be flipping that and look forward to see what that month is going to look like. But so our reading today is for April 3rd through April 9th. And again, this is general, right? So take it, apply it. My card might say Monday, Tuesday, but you may find that energy start is hitting you today, right? So take it as it suits you. But let's get started. For the general reading, I'm going to go with signs of the time. And then after the general reading, of course, I will pull cards for anyone who has a question or a request. You don't have to have a specific question. Maybe you just would like a guidance card for today, or maybe there's a theme, but you don't have a question about it, right? So let's get a card here for Monday and Tuesday. Coming up Monday and Tuesday. Card for Monday and Tuesday. I think you are there. Hey, Carolyn. Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday. Yep. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A message for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh, you're right here. Ooh, it's a tour. It's a twofer. Okay. Here in Bend, Oregon, I will tell you, we have had more snow. It is not very warm. And this week, I think we're supposed to get maybe a little more snow today. We'll see what happens. The good thing is it goes away very quickly, but it's not so warm. It's very windy. And then not this week coming up, but the next week, it's like the temperatures are going to the 70s. No, I need some time in the 50s and 60s. Okay. Although I sure did love the decade of the 70s. Okay. Monday, Tuesday. Bees. Community. Look at that. Bees. That's as in buzz, 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 bees. It's also the number 37, which reduces to 10. So, but on Monday, Tuesday, think about community. Think about the ways that you show up in community. And, who's there for you? Who is your tribe? Who are the people who are there to support you? Who are the people that you can sit and linger over a cup of coffee, whether it's a cup of coffee, we're just using that, right? Or anything. Who is the person that you can be with and just be without rushing, without worrying? When you think about sitting and getting a cup of coffee, even though this is a to-go cup, we think of that as a ritual, as a way to relax, as a way to just enjoy the moment, to sort of savor the present moment, right? And so find your community and see who they are. Bees, of course, are all about a community. And so Check in on that Monday and Tuesday. And how are you participating? Have you been withdrawn a little bit? Have you been a little protective and, just maybe not out there with a cup of coffee so much lately? And maybe it's time for you to step out a little bit more, right? Or do you need to call in some people because you're feeling like I just need some big love? I need my friends, I need my tribe. Well, call them in, invite them to a cup of coffee or a real cup of coffee. Wednesday, Thursday, power lines, energy. And I think this goes really right along with the community, energy, power lines, the communication. How are we communicating? How are we transmitting our thoughts, our ideas, our love, our communication, our desires? How do we, and it goes back to how do we show up? Because the way that we show up, are we showing up as ourselves, as like, what's really in here? And if it is, then these lines, I mean, you can see they're sort of straight. There's no friction, there's no crossing of lines, right? And so when we show up fully and truthfully and honestly, there is no static in the line. Someone may not care for what is received on the other end, but there's no static, there's no misunderstanding, there's no confusion. So get that straight. Okay. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there were two cards that came out here. And we have skull endings and smiley face joy. Well, I like this. I do like this. Okay. Here you go, Instagram. Here are the two. And YouTube. So with endings, we know that everything has to end in order for something else to begin. I mean, we know this. It is hard sometimes. Sometimes we don't want something to end. Sometimes we don't want someone to leave, right? That is hard. But deep down inside, we know it's for the best. We know the space needs to shift for something else to move in, right? Something else to breathe. And so see, and it comes with smiley face joy. Are we joyful when something ends? I guess it depends on what it is that's ending, right? Because we can be. And you know what? If you are, don't feel bad about it. So if something ends, something leaves, and it's like, whew, yeah, sort of was waiting for that to happen. It's okay to be happy about it. And on the flip side, if you find yourself sort of sitting down in the deep, grief, and you have to grieve, I mean, this is part of things ending, see where it is, where that line is, where you can go from healthy grieving and mourning, and where you can then find that entrance into joy, entrance into, okay, I'm ready to go again. Because it always comes, right? It always does. And it starts off with card number 37, which, as I said, was the 10, the Wheel of Fortune. So it feels to me like this week is really about transformation. It's really about relationships. Yes, it's about relationships making shifts. And they may be relationships that maybe you've had for a really long time, but maybe you haven't been in touch or something, and you want to invite that energy back in, right? Um, it could just be a relationship that's run its course, and you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for what's next for me. So whatever it is, be really clear in how you're communicating what it is that you need, what you want, what you're ready for. Be clear. And again, it may end. It doesn't mean the ending doesn't mean that the relationship goes away. Okay, here's the other piece. It doesn't mean that the relationship has to go away, but it means that the relationship is going to end in the form in which it is currently, because it is no longer of service to either of you, or the three of you, or the 10 of you, whatever it is. There's a shift that needs to happen. And that's going to be a good thing. Aha. Yes, indeedy. That's it. And smiley face, it's 30. 3 and 0 reduces to 3, which is the Empress, which is all about birthing and beginning and creativity and flourish and abundance. Well, we can't have that without the death, right? You can't have a new vegetable garden unless last year's vegetables have moved on, right? They've been harvested, the weeds have been cleaned out, and now it's ready to go again. Okay, that's what I've got for this week. That's good. That is good. Yes. And it is, I feel like it is about relationships. And think about all of your relationships. I mean, we're not, doesn't have to be your romantic relationship, your intimate relationship, your relationship with family. It could just be any, it could be a work, it could be a neighbor, it could be your relationship that you have with something, right? So just keep that in mind this week. Where can you see things moving? And what can you do to help it evolve, help bring it in, or help move it out? Okay, that's what I have for everybody. I've got some decks on the table. If you would like a card, I would be happy to pull one for you for a question or a request. Just put it in the chatter. Good cards for the week. Again, I know. I know. They feel good. Like last week's reading was it was some tough love last week. Like those cards were calling us out on some serious stuff. And this week it's like, yep, it's moving, but boy, this is a really good thing. And I like that. Okay. One, so interesting. This is what I came up right as you started your readings. New beginnings, grounded growth. You see? And there's your smiley face at the end. Yeah. And in terms of like new beginnings, grounded growth, also, maybe it means think about also taking a cup of coffee, taking a meeting, having a conversation, right? Inviting, like stepping out of your comfort zone to tell somebody, hey, I have this great idea and this is what I want to do. So, yeah, this is what's going to set the week up. Yippee. Shri, um, I'm looking for a job, and until when I will find one? Um, I know we've talked about this one before, Shri. So I think I'm going to Whispers of Lord Ganesha. I feel like maybe I feel like there's like a calming of an energy that needs to come in so that the the job search can be more what's the word? The job search can be more thoughtful isn't the word I want. Let me see if I can come back with it. Okay, so I've got two cards for you, and I like it. Okay, and this deck is very shiny, but you've got determination and sustenance. So, determination, like of course, you are determined. You're being very determined. We've been talking, this job search has been going on for a while, right? So you're determined, you're on it. You're like, yeah, when is this coming? When's it happening? Oh my gosh, it's got to come, right? This is like real, this determination energy to me is the exhausting part of determination. The sustenance piece is coming in to say, there's a piece about this job search that is really important for your lesson. Juan used new beginnings, grounded growth. And I feel like the sustenance piece is saying that this circle that you're on, this job search that you're on, it's not just about the job, even though, for most of us, we need a job. We need to pay the bills. We need a check coming in, right? Yes, there's a practical need for the job for sure. And if we don't have one, that can be very worrisome. So I am not discounting that in any way. The sustenance piece is saying there's something really important about this search for you that you need to get in touch with, and you are getting in touch with, and it's going to become more obvious to you. Um, but there's a piece about this job search that's more important than just getting the job. As hard as that might be to grasp, um, yeah, there's something in there in the search. It's also number 7. And 7 is the chariot. And so the chariot is about movement. The chariot is about going forward and now making choices we've made the choices, now we're ready to go. But the chariot also requires us to make sure everything is actually in alignment, is ready to go. That the chariot, the frustrating part of the chariot, can be like, it's not moving yet, but it is going to. And to have faith and patience in that and keep working on getting things going. Not by force, but by will. Okay. Carolyn, I was just writing in my journal to step out of my comfort zone. Well. Good for you. May I get a general card, please? Yes, indeedy. Yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone is hard, but it can be really fun, right? You sort of get like a giddy laugh after you get over the fear of it, right? After you're like, oh, what just happened? You get a little silly. I like it. Okay, Shri. Um, Great, thank you. You are welcome. One, this new beginning is actually the end of my search for a new job. I needed to reframe what I thought my job needed to be. So yeah, that's really good. So take the cards that I just pulled for Shri and apply them there also in terms of determination and sustenance, you know, and maybe determination has a different definition for you, but the sustenance part seems to be resonating. Okay, Carolyn, looking for a general card. Let's have a general card for Carolyn. And I think I'm going to Inner Glow. Let's go to Inner Glow. Let's have a card for Carolyn, general card. I will share that I'm doing a bridal party next weekend for readings. I'm very excited about that. I love doing group readings. So if anybody ever wants to do a group reading, I do them on Zoom. This one I happen to be doing in person, but I love doing group readings. The vibe is always like so good. Okay, Carolyn. Oh, this is an interesting one. Very true. Honestly, I stepped out of my comfort zone when I started my blog. Now I want to start a podcast. You are on a roll. The card for you, which makes it so interesting, is martyrdom. There you go, Instagram. Martyrdom. That's a funky little word, isn't it? Coming out of your mouth. Martyrdom. Martyrdom. And I think what it's coming through is, Carolyn, is you're on this roll, you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you started your blog already, you're wanting to start a podcast. And I think this is really coming in as like a little voice in the background, just saying, keep going and be careful not to trip up and fall into any of this thinking, because it is easy when we're putting ourselves outside of our comfort zone, when we're trying something new. It is easy to, when something isn't exactly the way we want it to be, to come back and say, oh, well, that just wasn't the right place. And those people didn't think that I was a good writer. And oh, I don't know. It's easy to get into that thinking, right? And so I think this is just coming in as a reminder because you're clearly on the roll, you're clearly going. And this is just saying if the tendency shows up, be mindful of it and see what you can do about reframing. One of the things Juan said was about reframing. So see what you can do about reframing. Yeah, that's what I got there. Okay. Did anyone else have a question? It's super quiet today. Gracias, a comer con unos amigos. Te escribo después. Bueno, gracias. Sí, por favor. Okay, I'm going to call the reading because I actually have some things I got to get to. But I hope those cards were helpful for a few of you. And if you would do me a favor, put a like, a thumbs up, a note in the comments. Every one share tells the algorithms. I know I talk about this a lot, but it really is important. But it tells the algorithm that there's something of interest here and maybe more people want to know about it. So anything you can do, maybe you can share the general reading with someone and say, hey, here's some great cards to work with this week. That would be great. So whatever works for you, I would appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful first full week in April. My goodness. And if you have spring at your doorstep, enjoy it. If you're moving into winter or autumn, I should say, it's a beautiful change of season. So, love to all of you, and we will see you next time. Bye. Ciao, ciao.